California. Elaine Youngs and her partner Nancy Mason playing together for the first time. Elaine Youngs dropping her partner last week, Rachel Walkholder, in a much publicized split. It created some chaos on tour carts, and there's some new teams this week.
Oh, there are some new teams this week, and there will be more after this tournament's over, because Youngs isn't even playing with the person she's decided to play with the rest of the season.
Over her.
Here's Elaine Youngs, and Youngs pokes it over the top. Nancy Mason has played in 143 beach volleyball tournaments. She's been on the circuit for 13 years. She's never won a tournament. This could be her chance. Her best finish, she's gotten second 4 times, 2 times this year. But this is one of the best partners she's ever played with. So if she ever had a chance, this would be it. Misty May cut shot. Nice play by Youngs. And Mason into the net.
And they've been doing amazingly well, considering they essentially had no practice this week. They returned from Europe and just entered the tournament, played, and now here they are in the finals, Youngs and Mason.
Youngs in the white cap, Mason in the dark cap. Mason has got almost every serve all day long. Little joust.
Gotta go.
And Youngs over the net. Carrie Walsh has it. Youngs is there. Carrie Walsh, cross court, got it. So Carrie Walsh with the kill.
Well, you may be able to stop Carrie Walsh once in a rally, but rarely will you get her twice. And that time she hit the easy angle shot. That's such a difficult shot for a blocker to take away, because the blocker has to go so far to her left, it leaves a lot of line open if she's going to take that.
Line. Go, go, go.
Mason and Walsh with a one-hand dig. And she puts it away. Carrie Walsh, who has won 59 tournaments. If she wins today, she'll tie Jackie Silva at 60, one of the legendary greats and the former gold medalist.
And she still will remain 4 behind Misty May, who is rapidly approaching becoming the winningest player in women's pro beach volleyball.
Here's how it goes. McPeak is number 1, Carolyn Kirby number 2, Misty, Jackie Silva, Carrie Walsh, the top 5. Here comes Mason. And another one-arm jobbie. Walsh again.
And what's interesting is that they have Misty May at the net doing the blocking. Usually the stronger blocker on this team is Walsh, but great defense by Walsh, staying low. They're doing something we call switching off in beach volleyball, and that is whoever is not serving is the blocker, and it's been working really well for them at the start of this match.
This is game 1. Walsh and May leading 4-1. Mason and Youngs trying to get loose. They played a very serious semifinal about a half hour ago. They defeated Tammy Leibel and Diane Denekashe. It went 3 long games, 15-12 in the third, and they didn't get a lot of rest.
And they had a big lead in game 1, let it slip away, and that cost them some time. If they'd have won 2 straight, they'd be fresher here.
Elaine Youngs playing in the championship match here in Manhattan for the 6th straight year. That ball hit off her hands out of bounds. So we have come to the first time out here in Manhattan Beach. Misty May and Carrie Walsh off to a solid start, leading 5-2. We are in beautiful Manhattan Beach, California, the granddaddy of them all. Capacity crowd. We're underway. Manhattan Beach Open presented by Bud Light. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Along with Karch Garai, I'm Chris Marlowe. Carrie Walsh and Misty May have dominated the AVP Tour this year, winning 8 out of 10 events. But the last 2 weeks, they've been in Europe, Karch. They got a 2nd and a 5th. They struggled a little bit. Are you concerned?
I am a little concerned. As you said, they've dominated on the AVP Tour against other American teams behind the offense of Misty May being great, especially off serve reception. Misty May controlling the net with her offense. Most teams choose to make her do all the offense, and they can do that by serving her. You can see her putting the ball away. She can either do the shot or the hard hit, and of course Walsh patrols at the net herself with the great blocking. But for the first time in about 4 years, they went overseas and played internationally and lost 2 consecutive events. A little concerning for the gold medalist team of May and Walsh.
The opposition today is headed up by bronze medalist Elaine Young. She's not playing with Rachel Walkholder. Dumped her last week after coming back from Europe. She has a new partner, Nancy Mason, caused quite a stir.
Who is just a fill-in, because the person Elaine Youngs really wants to play with is Nicole Branna, and they decided to play together, but Branna said, I'm not going to not play with Holly McPeak. I owe her playing in Manhattan.
So it's Elaine Youngs and her new partner Nancy Mason for 1 week only. And then next week, Elaine Youngs will play with Nicole Branna. And Mason, her best play of the day. Mason is 5'7", she's 35 years old, grew up in Belleville, Illinois, now living in Redondo Beach. A star at Indiana way back when. And now she serves. Misty May's got it.
Come on, Nance, come on.
And Mason, a tremendous defensive player, goes and gets it. Another dig by Mason.
Yes.
Misty has it. Mason for the third time. Long rally. Can Mason do it? Not yet. Misty's there. Youngs over the top and down. And Mason says, thank goodness.
Mason's doing a great job of padding her stats. She's averaging almost 5 digs per game. And she already got almost her average in just this one rally. Let's watch the whole thing and listen.
Come on, Nance, come on. I got you.
Dig number 2.
Yes.
Dig number 4. And finally, Youngs taking control of it herself. Mason coming up with the great digs, but not only do you need to make the defensive play, you need to finish the play by putting the set down, and she wasn't able to do that. Youngs was.
Now Mason with the serve. Played in her first event on the AVP Tour back in 1994, and Misty May slashes one through.
And that is the typical strategy of most teams. They will go at May, serve her. She receives the serve. Second contact comes from Walsh. May, that time, burying the ball down the line. When teams don't have success with that strategy, they have to think about trying to make Walsh do more of the offense.
Walsh to serve it up. Leading 6-4. And the block by Misty. So Misty May, who's nicknamed the Turtle, gets the block at the net.
And what she does this time is reaches to her right. Even though her partner is digging angle, May reads the hitter well. Sometimes a blocker will say, well, I can see it's coming to my right, and she reaches right over and takes the ball away and puts it down.
Back on Mason. Good set. Mason taps in, and Walsh with the left hand, her offhand, and she puts it away. 3 sensational digs by Walsh here in game 1 for points.
Absolutely, and she is showing us something that volleyball players who are right-handed have a great difficulty doing, and that is going with their left when they go to their left. You'll see a lot of players reach with their right hand, but Walsh does a great job of keeping that in and putting it down the line against Elaine Youngs, who was thinking about blocking but dropped off the net.
Youngs frustrated at the moment. Her team behind 8-4.
She's been frustrated a lot the last few weeks.
She sure has. So Mason, another, and then on 2 is Youngs. There's a net call, and while we have a moment, let's go down to Heather Cox. Heather.
I was able to talk to both players in the breakup, Elaine Youngs and Rachel Wacholder. Obviously very different perspectives. Elaine Youngs was very optimistic, saying, hey, it had everything to do with wanting to play with a taller, more athletic, physical partner in Nicole Branna, who we'll see her with next week. Rachel Wacholder said it was about personality conflict and said it actually took place in Paris, not Austria, when on the court they had a verbal sparring that definitely hurt Rachel Wacholder's feelings. At that moment, the two of them knew that they would not rejoin their partnership, so had to play in Austria together, knowing that once they came back domestically to the States, they would part their ways. Very emotional, very confusing 2 weeks for everybody on tour.
I think many relationships have dissolved in Paris. Don't you think, Coach?
Right under the Eiffel Tower.
9-5 our score, and the put away for Nancy Mason.
And Misty May doing the same thing that Walsh did a couple of plays ago, going for the ball. When it goes to her left, you can reach farther with your left arm, and she does a great job, but just falls short.
Rachel Walk
digging that ball up. Sorry.
Rachel Walkhalder going and playing with Jen Boss this week. They took 5th. Walsh. And it's going to be another point for Carrie Walsh and Misty May. 10-6 now.
And this alignment has been very good for May and Walsh. Unusually, they usually don't rely on Misty May at the net as a blocker as often, but she's doing a great job of what we call funneling the blocker, funneling the hitter. She's taking her area, forcing the hitter to go around her to where Walsh will be digging.
Mason gets her 9th serve out of 10 and puts it away. And the ball to Youngs and Mason. Youngs is 36 years old, of course, the 2000 Olympic bronze medalist with Holly McPeak. She has 35 career wins, over $1 million in prize money. That's 5th all time. And Misty, like she did as an outside hitter in high school, pounds it on the left side.
She didn't get to do much of that in college, though, where she was an All-American setter and won 2 championships at Long Beach State. And this time, she comes around behind the setter and hits on what we call the left side of the court. Misty May, normally a right side hitter. She takes the right half of the court.
Misty, of course, the daughter of Butch May. If you follow volleyball, you know that Butch was a 1968 Olympian. Played on that great team that upset the Russians. And carry over the top. Both May and Walsh coming from very athletic families.
Absolutely, and that's a play that May and Walsh have been working on. When Walsh drops off the net, she needs a certain height to her set. She was able to do that, and there is Misty May's father, Butch, that 68 Olympian. But May needs to set Walsh a little higher in transition. It worked perfectly that time.
Timeout on the sand. We're in the midst of game 1. Carrie Walsh and Misty May leading 12-7. Slow start. They haven't been able to rally.
And Liz Mazikayan referred to it. She called it a real point. In old volleyball, you had to be serving to score a point, and that's what she means by a real point. Points when her team is on serve.
First 2 games to 21 points. The third and final game, if necessary, to 15. Here's Mason. Over to Youngs. Misty's got it. And the ball wafted long.
And Mazikayan talked about it during the timeout. She set up a strategy where Youngs would try to take more of the line away from May, and Mason would dig the middle, and it worked perfectly on that play. She came up with the dig to cause the long rally.
Now Nancy Mason. High jump floater. Pretty good one. And cross court goes Carrie Walsh. So Carrie Walsh gets the kill since the Olympic.
And on this play, Mason was thinking, oh, it's going line. She broke to her right, leaving the court to her left wide open. Walsh easily finding the sand with that ball.
Here's Carrie. They are 135-7 since the 2004 Olympic Games. Misty pops it up. Oh, and Walsh makes a rare mistake going on 2 into the bottom of the net.
And we heard in the last break Dane Selznick setting up a strategy where every time Nancy Mason receives the serve and comes behind, they probably want to drop off as a blocker. Misty May dropped off well, got that ball up, but they weren't able to convert.
Elaine Youngs is playing in her 62nd straight Final Four. 62 tournaments in a row. She's been in the final groupings as May pops one through. For Mason and Youngs to have a chance, Karch, it would seem that Youngs has got to dominate somewhere at the net. She's got to get some blocks.
Yes, and she had another opportunity there that she let slip away. She was responsible for taking the line away, didn't take quite enough, and it went off her left elbow and out of bounds.
And line.
Walsh is there. Walsh is there again.
And Youngs, when she hooks up with her new partner next week, Nicole Brana, she is going to be likely to be playing that side of the court. We call it the right side. The last few years, she's been playing the left side. Now she's over on the right. But Walsh shutting that angle down. Youngs is going to have to get used to that in a hurry. She hasn't played a lot of right side the last few years.
Kerry Walsh started off by digging in game 1. And now she is spiking the ball. She's got a block, and it's 19-12. And over the top. I think Mason and Youngs, they've come out here. Nobody really expects them to beat May and Walsh, but they have to do what you said, go for broke. They're not playing aggressively, trying to spike by and really going up with a purpose.
They have nothing to lose. It's a lame duck team. They're only playing this one tournament, so they might as well just go for it.
Here comes Misty. There's a block, and it's over the net, score. And Young shaking her head. She cannot believe it.
She's thinking, what do I have to do to block Misty May? Comes right back. And this time she takes the line. Last time she let her get away with it. That actually hit Misty May twice. Watch this second replay. It's going to hit her hand there, and then she hits it a second time, but the referee missed it. Double contact there.
Cannot be separate contacts. It can be a boom boom.
It can be one movement to play the ball, but that was 2 movements.
So the first game point for Kerry Walsh and Misty May, and it's a shank pass, and that will do it. So Kerry Walsh and Misty May, frustrated by a second in Paris and a 5th in Austria, come out with a vengeance here in game 1 at Manhattan Beach. And they win easily, 21-13. Our coverage of the AVP on NBC will continue. Game 2 is up next.
Come on, Chris.
All right, Heather Cox, Natalie Coughlin, the former Cal Berkeley swimmer, also an avid surfer, loves to surf. Hey, we've got some waves down at the pier, maybe a little bit later. Coughlin and Karai surfing the line.
If anybody's going to catch those waves, it's going to be Coughlin with her nice freestyle stroke and others. But one of the frustrating things about being an Olympian in a team sport, even if you have 12 teammates and they all win a gold medal, it only counts 1 in the standings. But the swimmers can get 5, 6, 7, even 8 medals and help our team, our U.S. country, out a lot more.
Misty May goes over the top. Oh, great play by Mason. And a good opportunity here. Youngs could have hit on 2, and Mason tapping it. And it's too good.
I think Youngs just didn't have anything left to go for that, but that was a perfect set by Mason. I fully expected Youngs to try to hit that ball instead of setting it. Mason giving it back easily to Walsh instead.
Misty May and Kerry Walsh winning the first game, 21-13, leading 2-0 here in game 2. Oh, that's a tight call on Elaine Youngs, and she's going to go over and talk to Alan Siegel. Bet your bottom dollar.
It came out your backhand, man. No, it's not. You can set better than that.
You can set better than that, man. The old days in traditional volleyball, you yank that guy right off the stand. You think that was a throw?
No, I think Alan's Mr. Siegel's not having one of his better games. He missed the call underneath.
It's not too tight. If you double it, it was a double. Yeah, it was. It came off both hands. It didn't come off right. Here we go.
Sometimes you can't tell by the spin. If he says it's a left to right hand transfer, or vice versa, it's a double contact.
It's really hard to see on a replay, but I thought that was a little too tight of a call. He also missed the double hit on May in game 1 and the under on Mason that he called that wasn't.
Serve is wide. If you just joined us, of course, that's Alan Siegel, the official.
And one of the very best on this tour for years and years, but even referees can have their off days.
Crowd jammed in on center court. Nancy Mason looking for her first win ever as a professional. She started playing. She is looking like she is fatigued. She's gotten every serve for the last 2 days. She played in a very difficult semifinal, and she's got to step her game up a little bit.
And they played through the losers bracket, played a number more matches than May and Walsh have.
21 serves, and that's a big one right there for Nancy Mason. So Nancy Mason with their best hit of the match. And our Bud Light road to the final.
And the one that really hurt them was 3 down there. The 19-21, 21-23 loss to Denekashe and Leibel came all the way back through the losers bracket and let game 1 slip away at the bottom there, 15-21, but 1-3.
4-2 our score. Youngs and Misty May with another perfect pass. And the cut shot. So pass, set, hit. The order of the day for Misty May and Carrie Walsh. They won game 1 easily, 21-13. And they've gotten off to a good start here in game 2. The AVP Crocs tour will continue after this.
Years off.
Stein Metzger, of course, and Karch's old partner Mike Lambert figured to be contenders as Misty May digs one up. How about Jake Gibb and Sean Rosenthal, who's a local favorite here. Mason, in she is roofed.
And when Walsh stays at the net and commits to blocking, that's the kind of damage she can do on opposing hitters, no matter how good they are. But Chris, you mentioned it. You already covered the top 3 teams on the men's side, all in great position to be here in tomorrow's final on NBC.
Misty May and Carrie Walsh have won 2 Manhattan Beach Opens. The all-time record holder is Nina Matthews, who has won 6 times here in Manhattan Beach.
And that we would have to call that the opposite of an aggressive play. Youngs and Mason have nothing to lose. The only tournament they're going to play this year, Youngs really needs to step it up and start cranking on her offense and on her serves.
Over the top, and Walsh can't get there. One thing that makes Walsh so effective as a blocker, when she pulls off the net, she is so long that she can get back and defend on plays over her head.
Exactly. Her stride is longer than the average. It only takes her 2 good or 3 good steps, and she's already in defensive position.
Now Nancy Mason to serve. 7-3 our score. And Mason's got it.
And this way, hard.
And she puts it away. So Nancy Mason playing with Elaine Youngs for the first time, showing a little sign of life there. Nice play.
And you won't see a soft shot like that go down on Misty May very often. In fact, Youngs didn't want her to hit that shot. You could hear her saying, hard, crank that ball, but she slipped it by May.
7-4 our score. And Misty puts it through. Tammy Leibel and Diane Denekashe, a disappointing third. They might have made the final. Holly McPeak and Nicole Branna, playing together for the last time, also finished third. Jen Boss, Rachel Walkholder, Annette Davis, and Jenny Jordan, 5th. Carrie Dodd having a great tournament along with ageless Barbara Fontana. Lauren Fendrick, Tatiana Manello finishing 7th. The best finish ever for Fendrick, the former Bruin. Here comes Walsh. Look out below. And she pokes it down.
Nice save by Walsh at the end of that play. Walsh gives Misty May a perfect set, a perfect pass, but May puts it a little low and a little too close. But Walsh's height wins out. We'll see it at the end of this play. Perfect pass. The set a little low for Walsh and a little tight, but she can just poke it over with that knuckle shot over the Youngs block.
Carrie Walsh, 9 successful spikes. This is the 27th year of the Manhattan Beach Open for women. First 3 years back in the 60s, 1966. Nice up by Misty. And she cranks it down. Oh, Misty May, the streamlined Misty May, the dig and the kill. We're coming back to Manhattan. Walsh and May up by 6.
Fame.
Yes.
Every winning team has its name engraved in a bronze plaque and mounted in the pier. And you can see the pier right on the screen there. And it's the only beach volleyball tournament in the world that has a permanent record of all the winners. That's what makes one of the things that makes Manhattan so special.
And of course, the man on the pier the most is Karch Karai. You got to get a hot foot walking on that pier, not to step on Karch's plate.
Bring your thongs.
How many of you won?
I think it's 8, but some people were saying 10 earlier. I think that might be a little wrong.
Mason and Misty had the dig. Misty May, Carrie Walsh on the right side of your screen. Nancy Mason and Elaine Youngs. Another good dig. Mason. And that's not going. Yeah, it's going to do it.
But you can see Youngs Young's had 2 or 3 opportunities in that rally alone to hit what we call on 2. Mason's putting the pass up there. Young's not, I don't think, aggressive enough to go after that ball. The play would have ended a lot earlier if she had. Here comes the first pass. She chose to set that. And the ball will come up again. And here's another opportunity where the ball goes up, but Young's chooses not to hit. Instead, she sets her partner, and then there's a third one coming. Again, Young's just going with her hand, going conservative. They do win the play, but barely. They need to play more aggressive to turn this around, down 5 points in game 2.
Gosh, Cart, she doesn't know what to do. You criticize her at the Olympics for going on 2 too much. Now you're criticizing her for not going on 2. Which is it?
She has I criticized her for going on 2 without jumping. She had an opportunity to jump there and do those.
Mason is there. Mason and Young's trying to get back in it, and they can do it with plays like that.
And even though I criticized her in what she was doing on that play, it's a great credit to Elaine Youngs that she can pick up a partner she's never played with and carry her all the way to the finals, making the finals with a new partner, and likely able to do that again next week with a third new partner for this year.
Now, Elaine Youngs, who is the best server on the AVP Crocs Tour, 144 aces in 136 games, and she's the only one with an average of at least 1 per game.
But she has none in this match so far.
Not yet. Misty. And Misty showing no regard for the Youngs block. Pounds one through. So Misty May, trainer. Of course, you follow the story. She married a baseball player, the Florida Marlins catcher, Matt Trainer, in the offseason. And they went on a regimen to get in shape, and Misty May losing 15 pounds and in the best shape maybe of her volleyball career.
And in fact, both May and Walsh were featured recently in an article in Orange County. Good shot by Youngs there on couples who are both strong or famous athletes. It was headlined by Andre Agassi and his wife Steffi Graf, and there are a number, and it just talked about how they deal with the difficulties of both having busy careers.
There comes Misty. Of course, Carrie Walsh also recently married to AVP star Casey Jennings. They got married in late November.
And it's certainly easier for them to deal with their careers because they're together most every weekend playing in the various locations on the AVP Tour.
Here comes Youngs. And Youngs tapping over the top.
Youngs has another opportunity. She's even hitting herself in the head a little on the way back. She has an opportunity to get her first ace. She really has to crank away on this to make it happen.
Is it good when Elaine starts whacking herself in the head? Is that a good sign, do you think?
Let's watch and see.
It's a hard one. Nice up. Nobody up, and she pounds it. So Nancy Mason, alive here in Manhattan Beach, pounds down the 9th point, her 13th kill. We're coming back to Manhattan after these messages. Yes, AVP Beach Volleyball looks terrific in high def. It is our women's championship final. Misty May and Carrie Walsh leading 1-0. It is 16-10 here in game 2. Carrie Walsh and Misty May on the left side of the court, and Elaine Youngs and her new partner Rachel make that Nancy Mason on the right side of the court. Still have with a chance here.
And Youngs receiving a rare serve there, getting an offensive opportunity, getting a great set from Mason. Mason, give her a lot of credit too, playing with a partner she's never played with before and getting a strong second place here if they lose.
Over the top, Youngs after it. Mason can't quite retrieve it. Misty May and Carrie Walsh have won 57 times together. That is 3rd all-time behind St. John Smith, Randy Stoklos, who won 114 together. Karch Karai and Kent Steffes 175. Then come Misty and Carrie. Do you think Misty and Carrie could ever get to the Smith-Stoklos record of 114?
I think they could, but they both also want to be mothers, and it's a difficult. They're thinking about maybe having kids after the next Olympics, much like Jenny Jordan and Annette Davis have.
Over the top and down.
So it becomes a challenge
Our Vonage spike of the match cards. We'll get back to your story in just 1 second. Misty May just a moment ago. High heat for May. That was our Vonage spike of the match.
And on the left side of the court where she normally doesn't play. But it becomes a real challenge for a woman to also to have kids and become a mother, along with being a great beach volleyball player. It almost like you got to take a year off and lose that year. Even with that, May and Walsh win at such a high clip, such a high capacity. I still think they could become the winningest team of all time, even taking an occasional year off for motherhood.
18-12 our score. Kerry Walsh told me last week that she wants to play another 10 years. So that would cover Beijing and London and wherever we're going after that.
They haven't even decided yet.
Chicago, I think, is in the loop, aren't they?
May doesn't sound like she's thinking 10 years, but definitely through Beijing.
Well, Kerry said 10 years. Well, Misty, we'll see.
But they would have to be together to be the winningest team.
That's correct. Here goes Misty. And Misty hits it on the line.
Boy, that is such a tough shot, too, because when a hitter reaches at full extension, reaches high with a straight elbow, and hits to the deep angle like that, it's almost impossible to block that ball.
So now it's 19-13. Misty May and Kerry Walsh just 2 points away from their 9th win on the AVP Crocs Tour this season. And when May and Walsh lose a tournament or two, they really come out with a vengeance, and we've seen that motivation today. Nancy Mason to serve. And Walsh has got it. And Young's with the block.
And you don't often see a player come in using a one-legged, like a layup approach. That tells you the set was too low. Watch Walsh have to go off her left leg there. Normally, to hit best, you jump off 2 legs.
Not over yet. 19-15. They'll go back to Walsh. And Mason with a beautiful dig. Big play here. Nancy Mason, no! Walsh is there to reject. So the crowd is up here in Manhattan Beach, California, as Kerry Walsh doing her thing at the net. And the Olympic gold medalists have their first championship point. Kerry Walsh to serve it, looking for their 3rd Manhattan Beach Open title. This could be it right here. Mason got it. So good placement by Nancy Mason. Her 15th kill. And now Youngs will serve. 20-16, 2nd championship point. Elaine Youngs needs 4 quick aces or some winners. Kerry Walsh for the win. Not yet. Mason's got it. Mason, pokey, yes! Well, Nancy Mason says it's not over yet. 20-17.
Seemed like they switched strategies to go at Walsh a little too late in this match, but they're getting some great opportunities. They got to keep the ball on Walsh with a tough serve like that one was.
3rd championship point for Misty May and Kerry Walsh. Passes off. Kerry for the win. That's it. Kerry Walsh and Misty May, champions here in Manhattan Beach. Sometimes they make it look easy, Coach Karai, and that was it today.
Yes, Man Walsh, win number 58 now, and they just keep rolling 9 out of 11 on the AVP Tour.
We're coming back to Manhattan, the AVP on NBC. We'll continue.